What is up, yo fellow gamers? It's your boy Champion.
Dude, what type of intro was that? Sounded like a prank invasion intro.
And Sentry. Oh my god. It is March 29th. Is it 29th, right? 2019.
29th. Yeah. The 2019? Yeah, we know.
2019.
Yeah.
2019. Now, in case somebody's watching this from like 4 years in the future, they're curious. They're like, I wonder what happened on March the 29th, 2019.
Or they woke up today and stumbled upon our video and didn't know what year it was. Oh my god.
Well, you know what? It's still gonna be entertaining. Even if you already know what's gonna happen in the future, it's still gonna be entertaining. Watch. Look, we're gonna start off with our opinions on Borderlands 3 and the whole Gearbox debacle, the whole presentation thing. We're gonna get into Anthem a little bit more. The updates have been a mixed bag. That's me being nice. So we're gonna touch up on that. We're gonna also have a debate, like right slap down in the middle of our show. It's gonna be Skyrim versus Breath of the Wild. Me, Champion, your man, thinks that Skyrim is a better game than Breath of the Wild, and Sentry thinks otherwise. So we're gonna debate, and let's see where that gets us. And we're gonna talk about other stuff, throughout the show, smaller topics here and there, but that's what you can expect. So stay tuned, guys. And now we're going to go into Borderlands 3. But before then, let's talk about Gearbox's presentation leading up to Borderlands 3. Alright, so Sentry, what was your opinions on the presentation itself? Not the game.
Yeah, my opinions, it was very, I felt bad. It was very cringy. I was cringing most of the time that it was, I think it was like an hour, right? It was an hour and a half, I would say. Yeah, and it was, I had a face, I was just like, stop, this is painful. But
I mean, it wasn't, I think it was good till the end, right? Like, it was the last 10 minutes.
I mean,
that
it wasn't cringy like EA, trying to say oh, we're defenders of gamers or something. You know what I mean? There's different types of cringe, and this was kind of it wasn't going well for them, cringe. And I felt bad for them. Because I actually wanted, you can tell they had passion. They really were trying to resonate with the audience, but it was just, the technical issues after another that were hurting it.
This wasn't, I know the difference between DLC and NPC cringe. It wasn't that bad because it was accidental. It wasn't done on purpose, thinking they were clever or something like that. So those cringes, I feel a little bit bad for. Stuff like that. And I still think the CEO of Gearbox, he handled it well. I think that, even though there's a bunch of mess-ups, he didn't do, I think, was it not Call of Duty, a Battlefield, right?
Yeah, I think it was Battlefield 4 that they tried showing off a trailer and it didn't show off. Yeah, and the CEO or the director, he ran from the stage. And then literally,
they threw him back
you see a hand pushing him out. No, what are you doing? Go back.
You idiot, go back out there.
Oh,
and he was just so this guy had a way better handle on it. He brought out the makers of the game again, and he started he asked them more questions, talked more with the audience, said a lot of funny stuff, said a lot of other cool stuff, and was making sure that the trailer was working. In fact, I think he bought his team a little bit more time just to try to make sure that the trailer wouldn't crash, at least for the main announcement, because it crashed during the what was it, the Handsome Jack collection, the remake. It crashed there, so he didn't want it to crash. So I guess he gave him a few extra minutes to get their stuff together. And I think he handled it well, but again, there were some mess ups. I don't think it was their fault though. Poor people. And honestly, I feel like they're genuine game lovers, and I like their humor, their dry, sarcastic humor. I kind of like that. It's kind of like the brand of humor that gamers have. So kind of make me feel more attached to them than Google's presentation.
Yeah, I didn't we already talked about Google, but yeah, compared to Google,
so
it was
okay,
a lot better.
But yeah, so that's what happened. And again, I feel bad for them, but I kind of bought their sincerity and kind of think they're a good game company. Like if I look at their their record, they have a pretty good record. So, I'll trust them. And then of course, on to the big reveal and on to our next topic. The last thing they showed off was the trailer for Borderlands 3. And I mean, it looked like Borderlands 3. It looked amazing. I mean, of course, they had the billions guns. That was the first thing I was looking for. It was towards the end of the trailer. But
yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I already expected that. So I wanted something new. And
then the walking guns came out. And I was like, oh my God. Like, at first I was like, walking guns? What is that? Am I reading this wrong? And I see the little guns start walking around.
Yeah, no. And not only that, what I was more excited about was the open world. Not the open world, but the different worlds, the different maps that they.
Yes, they show off like a cool desert. They show off this really beautiful cityscape. Well, I'm like, dude, it looks like nothing. It literally looks like something out of
like. This is obviously going kind of like on a rant, but I'm not the biggest fan of first-person shooters. But like, I'm more of an RPG fan. But man, I'm a Borderlands fan. That's for sure. Like, this is probably the only FPS that I just love the story. I love everything about it. It's the only game. I think it's one of the first games that like the humor always got me. Like after Persona, I think also the humor is really funny. But yeah. For Borderlands, I think was the first game that I played that the humor was just made me laugh all the time.
And not only that, like I love their villains. I love the Handsome Jack.
Here's the thing, I honestly do not think they can top Handsome Jack. I don't think so.
I don't think the goal should be to try to top Handsome Jack. Yeah. I mean, like when they were working on Handsome Jack, they just went on it's just let's design a funny villain. Like their goal should be to design an original villain. I think if the villain is original, Handsome Jack was he's totally different.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Obviously, the writing team helped, but a lot of it was the voice actor. He improvised a lot, and he's really the character built around him. He kind of was like, okay, this is a situation, and that's just the persona that he decided to become, and a lot of it was the voice actors. So maybe they'll do the same thing.
Gearbox, seeing how well that worked, they might make their other voice actors.
Yeah, I don't want them to be like, okay, be Handsome Jack 2.0. I want them to have their own, I don't know, their own. It's just Handsome Jack was perfect. That is like, I don't know, but yeah, they're gonna have to do their own thing in order to get their own spotlight.
Yeah, and the villains, they look kind of menacing, and let's see, they look like tough guys. So
but then again, it could just be like they look like teenagers to me. So it could just be like two teenagers, that have a little bit too much power.
Might be the art style, I don't know, but it also, they could be teenagers. I think that it's a departure from Handsome Jack, because Handsome Jack was like this cleaned up guy who looks like
he was kind of wimpy. He couldn't he would always be on the sidelines. Almost all of his dialogue was from him talking to you to the radio or whatever.
These guys look like you're gonna have to fight them. I guess they're final fight. They look like tough ones. And again, I've kind of liked this stuff. I feel like Borderlands has built a really cool world here, and nobody's giving it attention. But they have a lot of memorable characters. They have a lot of they're having characters from the Telltale games in here, from the pre-sequel, from 1, from 2. I love that their world building is
it's
secretly it's secretly really good. I don't
Here's
see
the thing,
people talking
I
about
recognize they showed off this is Pandora. I recognize the landscapes.
People are saying that there's a different planet that they might go to.
Yeah.
Well, it's a planet that you visit in, I think, in the Telltale games, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, they said that they really, really, really think that you go to those worlds. Well, there might be 2 planets. You might go outside of Pandora, and that might explain the really different looking maps and stuff like that. Because there's some.
Yeah, because Pandora, look at these. Here's the other thing: the guns. This gun looks like it's shooting lava.
Yeah,
obviously shotguns, sniper rifles.
I'm gonna try to get.
Look, these are explosive rounds. Yeah, from Borderlands 2. Yeah. Oh man.
And that's a beautiful thing. I feel like Borderlands, they could just get the system they had of billions of guns.
This gun shoots, it's like mini nukes. It looks like.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is like I feel like because they have an advantage because they could just take the system they had and just instead of like having to change it completely, they just add on stuff to it. You know, let's add on legs, let's add on lava, let's add on some sort of weird powers. So like they never have to start from scratch. So you know you always have the powers from like the last games, but you'll have these new ones too, these new guns with different abilities and stuff like that. And I really love that. I mean, if you guys don't know, like they have a generator basically, where they put in literally thousands and thousands of parts, and they generate literally 1 billion guns. And they all look really cool, and a lot of them are unique on their own. Like I remember in Borderlands 2, I had my favorite guns. I had like guns that I loved so much that I wouldn't even want it to drop. Like even though I would find more powerful guns, I just liked that gun, its style so much better, that I would keep it even though it did less damage. So you know, even though that they're like randomly generated, they're unique, especially because they're unique to you because nobody else has that gun.
Yeah,
that's to me what adds on to it. Borderlands 2 had a lot of customization. I hope this goes the same route.
And the pre-sequel also had a lot on the guns. Like
yeah,
the pre-sequel included modifications. Borderlands 2 didn't have that. You couldn't modify the guns. It was kind of as is. Pre-sequel, you can mod them, and that's obviously there. But you can see like these sights and stuff. So
yeah, and stuff like that.
That's just the potential. Is like
Because the thing is, you already have 1 billion guns.
Yeah, and honestly, in Borderlands 2, it didn't matter. Like they couldn't modify them, because you had. It's like you know how in other games you get like new modifications, right? And that's the loot. No, Borderlands, you literally just get new guns. So you're always changing guns. You never really stick to one. At least I didn't. But yeah, in pre-sequel you get modifications, and yeah, you can. It definitely shows that you can do that in Borderlands. And also, I remember it added like laser guns, which it looks like they also had. So. No,
what I hope is like, and that's what I hope. Maybe I also hope you can upgrade guns. Hopefully, because if there's like let's say you pick up a gun that's like not that strong, but you love the way it.
Yeah, the pre-sequel did that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can increase its like you can put stuff on it to make it as strong as like guns you're getting now. So or guns that are your level, so you never have to get rid of it. And I think you're making your guns that probably nobody else has. You're making them even more like yours. If that makes sense. So geez, and also character customization. Even though it looks like it's gonna have like the 4 set characters, if you can add different pieces of clothing and stuff to them.
Yeah, those characters are just classes. They've always just been that.
Yeah, also the power of the classes. That's also a big thing. They've always been super cool. The powers. I've always been in love with almost all the powers.
I was hearing like around some other, I think it was like Kotaku or something. They so Borderlands, Gearbox likes hiding things in their trailers, and they think that they hid their release date in the trailer. And I'm not sure which part it was, but there's like a sign, which basically most likely it's coming out October 1st, and that falls right in line with Borderlands 1 Borderlands 1 I think it was 10th anniversary, and also falls in line with like Tuesday being a release date. A lot of companies release their games on Tuesday. I mean, that's cool. Yeah. They kind of just said, yeah, but on the trailer, nobody notices though. I'm trying to see. I don't see it anywhere. Yeah.
So in 7 months. Well, they said soon.
Yeah, 1, and then there's gonna be another number. Yeah.
They did. They basically went into the breakdown of their. They basically went into the breakdown of their own teaser trailer, and yeah, they hit a lot of stuff in it. They basically did like a games theory episode, which was pretty cool.
Yeah,
so
it looks good.
And
I'm already
looking on the posters, it's already building lore. Like in my eyes, jeez, like it's just if you guys have a chance to look at the trailers, like pause on those moments.
It's called Children of the Vault, which is interesting because
sounds like they said it's gonna be a cult, right? Correct?
Yeah. It looks like a cult. Probably just they don't want the vault to get out, or things in the vault. I don't know, or they want everything to get out from the vault.
And you saw what it said, Holy Broadcast Center. So they might add this thing like in Fallout or stuff like that, like it's a radio. Well, you kind of were always with a radio, like with Jack, because he was always contacting you. So I guess they're gonna keep that going, where people are gonna constantly keep talking to you. Maybe that's the main way of communication the villains communicate with you, because remember, Handsome Jack loved talking to you on like whatever he could, and
yeah,
he would always talk
honestly, at first it was kind of just like. I remember. You remember in one part at the beginning, he talks about like his unicorn or something, the unicorn bear or whatever.
I haven't played 2 in years, but yeah, I remember all the stuff he would say, like, and he kind of like, you liked him, but you really wanted to beat him too, because he was really cocky.
Yeah,
he was really funny. So. Oh, yeah, I remember now when he talks about the diamond pony.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, I really, really am excited. One thing I do hope they do change is, like, multiplayer was... I mean, like, at least PvP was very limited. Like, you would have... Like, I basically would hit you and you would hit me. I mean, I'm pretty sure we played it at some points co-op. I remember I played a lot with my other cousin. I played it with a few friends. But you would basically hit each other, like melee each other, and then a circle would appear around y'all, and y'all would try to fight each other. Hopefully this has better PvP. I mean, you know, don't call me crazy. I'm not asking for Destiny or the Division now, but just a little bit more PvP options I think would be great and stuff like that. And yeah, I have high hopes. I wouldn't be surprised if this would be a contender for Game of the Year, cause and give this game Sekiro a run for its money.
Yeah.
So let's see. And now we're gonna move on to the game that you guys love and the game we love, Anthem. So guess what? There was another update, and the update came out. And Sentry, did that update improve the game? Did it make it playable?
So I don't even play the game anymore, but this is all according to Reddit users. You know, the inside sources that are still hanging strong.
It's like a wife. It's like a wife in like an abusive household talking to you.
Yeah, it's. Anyways.
He says he's gonna change, and then he gets home, he's even worse. Like, that's literally been Anthem right now.
Yeah, well, yeah, it sucks. So I don't even know what else to say.
It introduced.
Yeah, it introduced, like, at first you can get better loot, legendary drops or whatever, and then it just took it off saying, oh, it was an accident. And then, but now the end game, you basically need better loot, but you can't get better loot that easy anymore. It's like, what the heck? We're the only people playing this game. Let us at least experience the end game.
People were doing the math, and it was like, because defeating bosses, I forgot what it was. I think they were like raids or something. It would guarantee I don't know if it was like a Masterworks or Legendary, or it would basically like, it would guarantee you a really high tier weapon or high tier loot, which you wouldn't get. It wasn't giving it to you at all. Like, you had to play it multiple times to get it, and it was like, what? And then again, they said, oh, we're gonna fix this, and then they're like, I forgot what they said. They were gonna fix it, but they never gave a timetable. They never said anything, and it's like, do we want them to fix it? Because I feel like if they try to fix it, they're gonna add like 7 more glitches we never asked for. I mean, look, I've never seen a game like this fall so hard. And you're saying it didn't bother EA or anything like that, but they still fired a big.
Yeah, but it was mostly the marketing team. Not mostly. Yeah. It was the marketing team. It wasn't at all the developers.
They were like, why did you market this game as a good game? The marketing was like, you didn't give us money.
The marketing was fine, I think. The trailers and stuff were cool.
No, but they lied a lot. There was a lot of things that were promised.
Yeah, I think that was EA, not the marketing team.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Yeah, it was that was EA is doing. It doesn't seem like the marketing team. The marketing seems like we should be a little bit more honest, and they're like, no, we need to sell. And that's probably why they got fired. So, look, I don't know what to say, honestly. EA, BioWare, they've tag teamed us, and they're ruining our childhood or our memories. Massive.
I mean, it's not a childhood. It's nobody. I mean, this was nobody's childhood. Except
no, but I'm saying that these people, the same people that made the Mass Effect trilogy, they made the Star Wars games, they made
gotta remember them. They're still gotta remember their last blunders, and that was all in the past. I mean, Nintendo used to get a lot of crap because they're with the Wii U and a lot of their practices, and now Nintendo's like one of the best. Like, you know, not that one. Obviously, they've always been the best, but I feel like now they're back in the good graces in gamers. Like, you remember when you couldn't even play Nintendo games on YouTube, if not they would monetize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not anymore. No, but they took that out.
But I think the thing is, Nintendo never stopped making good games. If you check the Wii U has some cool exclusives, but it was just the way they were marketing their whole console and stuff like that it failed. They never stopped making good games. In fact, the Wii U has some really good exclusives that were like begging to be ported on the Switch. So I think it was a lot to do with the marketing and stuff like that, and also how they were perceived around the industry and stuff. So they're not, EA and BioWare just straight up aren't making good games. It's as simple as that. I mean, geez, we should do a prayer after this for the people that are still playing Anthem. Like, here's the thing, I'm never gonna fault somebody for liking a game. Like, if you like Anthem, whatever, but it sucks because there's people that genuinely enjoy it, and I'm happy that they enjoy it, but now they're literally getting thrown bugs and glitches that they didn't even have before, getting thrown things that they never asked for. And it's like, look, man, if you can't make that game good for us, the people that don't like it, at least make it likable for the people that liked it in the first place. You get me? Like, jeez. I mean,
I'm baffled. I really am. I don't understand. It's like they're so...
Look, and I understand
disconnected.
EA is money hungry. EA is money hungry, but they're not idiots. This is something that, like, all these mistakes seem idiotic. And I just feel like EA, they're smarter than that. Even though they love scamming you, they like taking your money. Like, even Activision, they're known for doing this, but they've never made such a failure of a game. I mean, yeah, Destiny was a huge disappointment, but it wasn't this. It wasn't, an unplayable mess, especially after Taken King came out. So it's like, geez, EA, I mean, could this be a coup by BioWare? Like, they're tired of EA stuff, and they're just...
And what? They just roll over and die? They can't. That's not how it works.
I mean, they're trying to roll over and die and then regroup as like an indie company, because now indie companies have a lot more support than they did back then. So
yeah, and then they have to be picked up. I don't know. I think there's contracts involved.
Yeah, but
or
I'm
the developers themselves.
I know, and it seems far fetched, but it's my like fantasy dream of that's what like I hope is happening. So what? BioWare just lost his magic? Like, I'd like to believe the one before. I like to believe that they're just planning a coup on EA and leaving. But let's see what it could be. So,
well, let's say for Skyrim and Breath of the Wild for I think later. I think that'll be better. Let's talk about all the news first. Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about Monolith Soft.
You introduce it because I since you was telling me about this news, so I wrote it on the WordPad, but WordPad doesn't have autocorrect, and I didn't look it up, so I misspelled it.
Yeah, he spelled it Monolasuf.
Hey, you know what? It sounds like it. Like, it sounds similar. You get me? Those words sound like they're cousins. They could be cousins. So, you know what? I think my attempts were valiant in spelling that word. So, yeah. Say the name again. say the news.
Monolith Soft. Yeah, so Monolith Soft, they picked up they're making a Zelda game, essentially.
Yes, and these were the people behind
Xenoblade, and they also built the open world of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Okay, and I mean, it's open world with a pretty big part of
yeah,
what made that game pretty
so
good. So
not. I mean, it doesn't really matter that they're doing it. I think it's more. It's like, okay, we're getting another open world Zelda game. So,
is this like a mainline Zelda game, or is this a side game?
I think every Zelda game is a main. Yeah, if it's Monolith Soft, they're a big studio, so they wouldn't just have a game. You know what I mean?
Okay. Is it rumored or is it like confirmed?
No, I think it's confirmed. Like they're hiring for a new Zelda game. So that's how they figure it out.
Okay, and Monolith seems to be like the number one contender.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense because their games are amazing, and they're like, I think they make incredible open worlds, you know. So was
the story in Xenoblade Chronicles deep? Did you consider deep?
What do you mean by deep?
Like, was it? Whose story did you like more, Breath of the Wild or Xenoblade?
I like Xenoblade's story better, but because Zelda, it was more about the story, like the dynamic. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of the adventure. Yeah, so because the story is you save Zelda essentially. That's it. But it's a story about how you got there. You know, you're getting your memories. Whereas in Xenoblade, it's all about, you know, there's a whole like story like arc.
Yeah, you think though that Monolith might like try to marry both styles into one game? Is it possible to do that?
I loved the adventure style of Zelda, but who knows? Maybe they're gonna try to get like heavy story like from how the past Zeldas have been.
Yeah.
Because this Zelda had a lot of hands-off approach. Whereas the past Zelda games always had like a lot of story, you know, a lot of story elements.
Yeah.
And Xenoblade, man, I think it was the first JRPG I've ever played. And after I finished Xenoblade, I went back and I played probably all the best JRPGs. Xenoblade 2 is the only reason I played Persona 5 and Persona 4.
And Persona 3.
Yeah.
And Persona 2.
No,
and probably Persona 1.
No, I'm not gonna go all the way back. Honestly, I'm gonna stop. I probably put Persona 2.
And that's it.
Yeah, Persona 3 I haven't finished it though. I'm thinking about getting like the emulated version on PC because portable is not that great.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get you.
But yeah, and there's so many games I've played because of Xenoblade, so I have to say Xenoblade is the story.
I mean, it's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I agree. Yeah. So I'm kind of excited too for the next Zelda. So let's see what we're in store for. Now, another small piece of news here. Sony, they're doing something called State of Play.
Yes.
Which I don't know if you ever heard of this, Sentry, but they're going to, instead of putting all their main stuff at E3 and stuff like that, they're going to put it out through segments. Like they're gonna put it out. They're basically gonna make a video and present what exclusive games and exclusive content is gonna come out on their consoles. And they're gonna release one of those videos every few months. If that sounds like Nintendo Direct, it's because it is. They're basically doing their own version, and it's probably why they're skipping E3. So, and my opinion is that I feel like companies should move towards this direction, because I feel like Nintendo, because remember what we said about Nintendo, they don't release a game unless it's coming out in the very near future. They're not gonna wait a year. But
they deleted they actually took down the State of Play and re-uploaded it because they were trying to reset the dislikes. And then obviously more people came and like disliked it because of that. I was like, really?
Jesus. But I'm saying like, I'm saying like, more companies should do this though. Like, okay, I get it, you're copying Nintendo or whatever, but think about it. Nintendo always tells you right before a game comes out, but it's harder to do that if you have to wait on specific dates like E3 or specific events that aren't in control by you. So you can finish a game and have to wait months till you release it because of that. Or the other thing could happen, a game could be a year away, but when you look at the timeline when that game comes out, there's not going to be any E3s or big events, on the way before that game comes out. So you're like, how about I just make a direct or a video, a video state of play 2 months before the game.
They didn't show like their best dude. Obviously they showed off their zombie game, but I don't know, I couldn't be more out for a game than that. And
no, and this was the first one. They're getting their toes in the water, so there's they're not gonna.
I never understood that, because these are big conglomerate companies. Why can't they just learn from other companies?
Well, and here's the thing: maybe everything that they have now is for the PlayStation 5, so they knew that they're not gonna have that much stuff to show off.
This is all for the PlayStation now, all of it, every single thing.
No. But I'm saying that
like Ghost of Tsushima and all that.
I'm saying the big stuff, the big heavyweight hitters are already on the PlayStation 5, and they're not.
I don't know, man. They announced it for PlayStation 4.
Cause think about it, this might have been everything they had.
I hope so.
This might have.
Oh my God! Then this went it didn't go that gracefully.
No, then that's what I'm saying. Like, if this is all they had, would you have wanted to watch that on E3? No, I'd rather watch a little cute video about it. Okay, whatever.
They're not going to E3 though, so.
Yeah. But my thing is, no, maybe because they're not ready to launch the PS5, but all the games that they're making and they currently have that are like the big titles are on PS5. So, they're like, yo, we don't want to disrespect y'all and like give y'all because imagine this was their E3. You know how bad that would be?
Oh my God.
Yeah, and trust me, we've had a bunch of Nintendo Directs where it's like, okay, I guess, okay, cool, okay. We just had one great Nintendo Direct in February and a great Indie Direct, so it's now it doesn't seem that way. But
great, though.
Yeah, some of them are just like, boring games. So
this was like the equivalent of the Nintendo Direct showed off 75% 3DS games and like 10% of Switch ports on the 3DS, and then the rest is Switch content, but they were all indie games. That's the equivalent. I feel like that would not be a great direct, but even then, I think that would be cool. Right? Now I think about it more. That'd be cool. A 3DS direct, still, but yeah, never mind.
I think it would be cool because then it's just like you could just have 3DS people here. Cause I don't think if you have a Switch, you don't care about the 3DS, and if you have a 3DS,
you don't really care about the Switch. Not many people. They're trying to. There's still a lot of 3DS people that haven't transitioned to the Switch yet, and that's why they're. Here's the other thing. Oh wow, it's a great transition. The new Switch port, the new Switch
consoles. That is true because so the news is that Nintendo announced that they're gonna come out with a big and smaller version of the Switch. So, well, I guess the direction you're heading in, Sentry, is that the small one could be the transition point for the 3DS people.
Well, no, Nintendo said some insider said that Nintendo was inspired by their 2DS models and their new 3DS models. So I don't know if you know about the new 3DS compared to the old 3DS. It has a better processor and stuff. So, yeah, it's essentially the more expensive. Probably the more expensive is gonna have like maybe a bigger battery, and it's gonna have more power. It's probably gonna be more expensive. And then there's gonna be like a cheaper one that it's more sturdier, just like the 2DS. There's a lot more sturdier and
smaller and it's gonna be cheaper and it's gonna
it gets rid of HD rumble and all that. So.
But it gives you the opportunity for you to be a 3DS guy, want to jump onto the Switch. Guess what? Here's a way easier. The price difference isn't. The price difference. It's. I don't know how big the price difference is gonna be. Might be big. Might be like $30 more, $30 less. Smaller and big one might be more. But it's a good jumping off. If the Switch seems too big for you, seems like I'm buying a whole console, then I think the mini Switch might convince you. And honestly, I don't know about you, Sentry, but having a 3DS, I have a small, a small portable device. I might think about getting the big Switch, I mean, if it comes with like a bigger battery,
what's the
better
point?
display?
If you have a 3DS, I don't see you, unless you know what I mean. Like, if you're already spending, unless it's like considerably cheaper, why would you like invest money into something? I don't know. It just seems kind of off to me.
Yeah, no. I think the small Switch is for the 3DS people and the people that want to save money. I think I wouldn't mind. Would you see it like something stupid to get the big Switch for, if you return your Switch and you get it like, you get most of the money for it back, and then you just have to pay, $40 or $30 more. Has a better battery.
It depends. Display. If it has a better, what do you mean? Like, if it has a better battery, and it has a better display, then it'll probably be the same battery life. The better display will take over. I don't know.
But what happens if it just straight up lasts longer? Like, it just straight up like, okay.
I've never ran out of battery.
On the Switch?
Yeah.
But you still could. I mean, you still talk about it. Like, you still. I remember when we were talking about the 3DS, that was one of like the main points. That's like it lasts a lot longer.
Yeah.
Switch.
But yeah, I've never. If it's just more battery life, no, I wouldn't get it. But if it's like I can play Zelda 60 FPS 1080p, then yeah, I'll get it. You know what I mean?
That's gonna be hard, but I mean, let's see.
Okay. For Nintendo, yeah. Yeah. But
no, yeah, for Nintendo, yeah. To fit it on a small console, it would be hard. But if
it's that, I think I'll get it. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. But
yeah,
if it's, I don't know what their plan is. I don't know how they're gonna.
I mean, for VR, it could be like, a better, the fact that it's bigger, it's just a nicer display. It might be better VR experience.
I don't think the screen is gonna be bigger. Because then the...
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so, because all the Labo won't be compatible.
I mean, if we're going by what the Labo looks like, I don't remember what it looks like right now off the top of my head.
But all the Labo are like perfectly built for the current screens.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's not gonna be bigger. The screen's not gonna be bigger. It'd probably be better, like, the screen right now I think is 720p.
So let's see where they go in this direction. Yeah, because I think for the small Switch, we know we're probably gonna get a smaller Switch with undetachable controllers and not the port that you connected to the TV with, probably. So that's probably what we're expecting for the small one. For the big one, we aren't sure what it could come with. So let's stay tuned for that. See what comes up.
I don't know. Like, that's the only way I would get it. Like I said, 1080p, 60 FPS. On a lot of games, then that's a pro version for me.
I mean, even if it's just 1080p, not 60 FPS.
No, I'd rather have 720p and 60 FPS though. You know what I mean? Because 1080p doesn't really make a difference. That big, if you compare it to 720p, not that big of a difference.
Okay, so we've gotten to the end. So I guess Sentry wanted to move this to the end because he wanted to avoid his inedible or prolong his defeats.
No, I just wanted. I think it made more sense that way. That's why.
Okay, sure.
Did it make more sense? We talked about all the news first, and now we're gonna talk about our own thing. So that's all our news for now. This is all our opinions. So if you want to keep listening, hey.
Oh no! I'm not debating with opinions. Ooh. I'm gonna debate with facts.
When anybody ever says that, then it's opinions.
So look, me and Sentry had a debate. I thought Skyrim when it came out was a better game. Sentry thought Breath of the Wild was a better game when it came out. We're gonna have a debate. Now, obviously, before we start, I understand Breath of the Wild came out a bunch of years afterwards. So, in terms of graphics and technology, obviously it's going to be superior, by default. But when we talk about it, I'm saying we should talk about it respective to when it came out. You get me? So the technology available at that time and stuff like that. And I mean, I still don't think Skyrim is that far behind because they have a bunch of remastered versions. So I don't think it's that big of a discrepancy, but let's go. Okay, so let me attack Breath of the Wild. I'm rooting for Skyrim. Champion, your boy Champion is rooting for Skyrim. Of course he is. Come on, the why is this here? And then Sentry is rooting for Breath of the Wild. Okay, not rooting, debating for. So let me start off with a few of my points. Now, who do you think has a better story or campaign? Would you say Skyrim or Breath of the Wild?
Well, Skyrim has a campaign. Breath of the Wild, like I said, here's the thing. We're gonna have to get a couple guide rules, okay? First, so we cannot talk about the age because we're comparing them right now. So
remastered. I mean, I can still do it.
Yeah. So we're not gonna say, oh, Skyrim is older, so of course no. If we're comparing
that might be
them,
your downfall.
If we're comparing them, then that it's already the argument's moot, so that doesn't matter. Second of all, there was a second of all, but I completely forgot because you said something.
Because that's a trap card. I just placed a trap card and you just flipped it for me.
No, it had nothing to do. It was just.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, we can't talk about the age because obviously then the entire argument's moot. Because Breath of the Wild came out years after Skyrim.
Keep going.
That's it, really. So what was your question? Oh, the story. Yeah. Okay, that was my other. So they're both two different games. So Breath of the Wild is not an RPG. It's not. It's an open world adventure game. So we can't talk about like the only what I was comparing it to. What it was my initial experience, the open world, the characters. What else? Because obviously, like, I know Skyrim's still a great game. It's still like in my top 10 list. Like, it's still there. It's probably number 3 out of all the best games I ever played. And it changed. I think that's what got me. I was always a gamer, but I never cared about the developers. I never cared about creators. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't delve into that world yet until Skyrim. Skyrim was like the thing, the it for me that got me into it.
That's why we're all upset with Bethesda out of Fallout 76. I mean, Fallout 76 isn't the worst game of all time, but the fact that it was made by Bethesda is what makes us like sad.
Yeah, and it was like all the studios worked on it. I was like, really? Like, come on, this is not their best work. What is this? No, yeah. It I don't want to Skyrim is still like I said, probably number 3 in my top 10 ever. Like that I always recommend to somebody. It really is one of the best games I ever played. Zelda, the reason I think it's better is not like obviously like I said, they're two different games. Skyrim has levels and it's an RPG. But the world in Zelda is what convinced me that it was like I never have felt that before. I never had played any previous Zelda games besides I think it was like I think it was our Phantom Hourglass on the Nintendo DS. So when I first that opening sequence when you run into I don't know, you played Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, and I've watched footage. I played a few more hours. I watched a lot of footage, and basically throughout the whole campaign and the DLC as well.
Yeah, well that scene when you run in the mountain and you see the landscape. I mean that scene it's so it captivates what the game is. So I'm showing you right now. It really captivates. This is you can just go wherever you want. Man, this game was
So what is the game's number one I don't want to advantage or number one thing that
the open world.
But what about the open world?
Everything about it. It was just it's more smartly built as a video game. There's the physics engine, the weather system, the nature system, all of that is.
But what does this do differently than other games? What's the main difference?
It did it all better. There's no other. Think of another open world game that.
No, but I'm saying though, what is its number one? Like, what makes this game an outlier? What's the twist that makes this game different than every other game?
I'm telling you right now, it's the fantastic open world.
Because a lot of games have open worlds.
Yeah, but they probably either suck or they're empty.
But I'm saying, what did this game do differently? Like, because I know it did something different. Like, I'm trying to throw a bone at you. It did something completely different.
That you can go anywhere.
That you can go anywhere. So it gives you freedom, basically, right?
Skyrim, you can do that, though. That's what I mean. It's not that different. Skyrim, essentially, you can kind of go wherever. Obviously, you can't fight the main boss because he's not even in the same open world as you. But yeah, you can do anywhere. As soon as you go out, it kind of has the same thing. It kind of went for the same feeling. I don't know if you remember, but when you
wait,
what do you mean?
Would you compare this to? Would you say the freedom in what's it called, Breath of the Wild? Okay, what game offers you more freedom, Breath of the Wild or Skyrim, you think?
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild,
100%.
And it's not even close? No.
Skyrim, you really can't choose the only thing you can really choose is the like the sword fight. The combat's not that refined in a way. Kind of just.
But I'm saying freedom as in what you can do in the campaign, what you can do in the story, what you can do in general. Like the story.
Breath of the Wild, because you can make the story where Link first grabs all his memories and remembers his past, and then he decides to go on the quest to defeat Ganon. Because maybe at first he's like, why should I defeat him? I don't know who this Zelda character is. Because he's amnesiac. Right? Or you can...
Which is a really big cliche, like, probably one of the biggest.
Yeah, but so is the main character in Skyrim doesn't remember, so... You're amnesiac as well. And you're a prisoner. But... Yeah, blank slate. Yeah, it's just a blank slate thing. That's normal. But either you can make that story, okay, so Link remembered all his memories, and then he decided to defeat Ganon once he figured out his past, or you can just make it where Link straight out came out of the cave and was like, yo, who's this Ganon? He's the bad guy? Yeah. Alright, let me go fight him. And then you beat him. That's the thing, that's the draw of Zelda. It's the open world adventure game. And I never have felt that, like, ever in a game. And that's why that impacted me more.
I think that there's multiple levels. I think there's multiple levels of freedom. I think there is doing whatever you want. Doing whatever you want whenever you want. And I think Breath of the Wild captured the second one very well. You can do it whenever you want. You can complete one mission you can complete one mission and not the other. You can you can decide to just go straight to the boss if you wanted to. You can do different things in different orders.
Yeah, well so Breath of the Wild, it's built around the open world. Like even the the music, everything about it, it's built like okay. It's just such an open game. I don't think any other game has done that ever.
I think I'd beg to differ that Skyrim offers more freedom, because Skyrim also doesn't. Not only does it give you the freedom of choice. I mean, not only does it give you the freedom of like you can do things at like whatever order you want to, but it gives you freedom of choice. You can become an assassin, a mage, a thief. Different roles you can do in life, which in Zelda your goal is to be Ganon, whether it's by beating one beast, two beasts, three, the big robot beasts. Either you beat 1, 2, or 3 or none. Your goal is to be Ganon. And yeah, in Skyrim your goal is to beat Alduin, but you can have full playthroughs not even being the Dragonborn, especially with mods. You can have full playthroughs.
No, yeah, we're not bringing in mods because that's not the game. It wasn't built. No. It's not within the game. There's not even an engine that Bethesda made. It was just straight up people made it on the side, and then Bethesda decided to add that later. So that doesn't count.
It does. You know why? Because you said modern versions count. And the modern. Here's the thing. If it was the older game, I would have said I wouldn't have counted it because it's only on PC. But now that it's on Xbox and it's on PlayStation, it's a feature on the box. It's a feature in the game. Now when it's on console, it's not anymore. It doesn't go anymore from like from it being like something on PC that people can hack and no, it's a feature. It's a feature that Bethesda still has to get the mod and modify it for the well the modders do that, but Bethesda has control of the mod page, unlike on the PC.
Okay, then we can talk about the modded version of Breath of the Wild.
There is no modded version of Breath of the Wild. Okay, I'm talking about Is there a feature in the game that you can start modding Breath of the Wild?
No, they added that later. I'm telling you. And that wasn't a feature. It's just like that there's a store that you can add stuff. Mods.
It's not a store. It's free. And that has to be able to count. How can I not count a feature that's in the game? Like, look, I know Zelda. I'm sure you can hack any game you want, but I'm saying
this is because you can play Zelda on the PC.
Okay, but
because you can emulate the Wii U, and then you can just mod the game.
I get you, but again, that's a lot of
Come on, bro. I'm showing you a mod right now. This looks amazing. This guy's playing as Steve from Mario. Has a SpongeBob shield.
And
he has
fighting
the sword.
Shrek.
I think that sword is from he has a.
And he's riding around in Thomas the Tank
Game of the Year, right there.
And no,
what?
that is. And Buzz Lightyear is his his little thing, his little parachute. That was actually beautiful, but it's not in the main game itself. Like, it's not a core feature. Like, you can't. It's not a thing on the menu that when you first buy the game. You get me? And the fact is that you can have mods where you don't even start as a Dragonborn. That means you literally have total choice of freedom.
Okay, well, there's mods, but like I said, like when we talk about design, Breath of the Wild is better designed as a game because of the physics engine, which is so open. Like, the physics engine is the most complicated ever implemented into a game.
Yeah, but it sacrifices something.
What?
Mod support. It's not easy to mod.
It doesn't need a mod to make the game perfect.
it has a cute mod where it reskins everything, but I'm sure there's not gonna be a huge quest mod or expansion mods and stuff like that. And
well, there is.
Well, again, not in the game itself, like on the consoles that you play in. You get me? I don't count you can't count emulation as like the right way to play it when it's technically not even legal for modern day consoles. So, look, mods, you have to count it as a plus for Skyrim because it's a feature. It's a feature where you can add as many features as you want. And I feel like it makes the argument a little bit unfair, but remember, it's a feature. Like,
okay, so it has mod support, whatever. That's not the game. It wasn't designed into the thing. Now, back to the actual game. I'm saying that's a better designed game. That's the argument here. It's not, obviously, if the community can do anything, then obviously it's gonna like.
Why didn't Nintendo make an engine that people can alter easily?
Because they don't need to just make they make complete games, but those are just made a game and they say, okay, you can add stuff to it.
I mean, I think Skyrim's a complete game before the mods. And my thing is, like, I think every game should have mods. Like, my thing isn't, I don't count it as a minus. That's always been my philosophy on games, that they should have mod support everywhere. Like, because every game you could make an argument, okay, you could take off this small feature, that small feature. And Breath of the Wild, the way that the swords break so easily and so fast, it's annoying. It's so annoying.
I think I don't think it's essential for the gameplay.
Okay, just bump up the gameplay.
It's not an RPG. It's not like, these weapons. The weapons you get are all like, it's an adventure game. So the point of the weapons breaking is that you're always like you're trying to survive. The entire game is like a survival simulation.
Okay, so you love the characters from the. Wait, did you play the DLC?
I haven't played the Champions DLC, but I'm already in the master. Like, I'm going to the master mode already.
Okay, so I think DLCs.
The DLC characters are the same characters.
No, I know. I don't. I think DLC is part of game design, right? I mean, they both. They already released. Breath of the Wild released all the DLC that it's gonna have, right?
No.
Breath of the Wild.
I think there's 2 more expansions coming out.
2 more? Well, let's compare the first 2 that have come out already. One of them, the one you're playing now, is terrible. It's Gauntlet mode. We've seen that before. It's a game mode that they added. They added a cool, smaller features here and there.
Yeah, it didn't. The DLC didn't really add much. It just added it added the New Game Plus mode, essentially, which is just hard mode. But it adds like new enemies and new strategies that the enemies take. What else? Yeah, the Gauntlet mode, which is pretty fun. I'm watching. Here's the thing. I'm distracted because I'm watching some 60 FPS 4K gameplay, and there's the PC version. It just looks amazing.
Would you agree? Would you agree that Skyrim handled the DLC better, at least so far?
What do you mean so far? It's done. I don't think they're gonna release more.
No, I'm saying because Breath of the Wild's only released 2 DLCs.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but it's a story DLC. It's it adds, to the lore of the world of Tamriel.
And here's my beef with Breath of the Wild, because you have a complete story with Skyrim, and you add on lore with the DLC. With Breath of the Wild, you get essential story elements that would have helped you care more for the main story in the Champions DLC. So that's kind of bothers me. My thing is that should have been included in the game, the Champions DLC. I don't know if you've seen it, but I've watched literally the entire story of it and a lot of gameplay from it. It's basically like what happened beforehand, before Calamity Island showed up.
Yeah, well, the game is not. The point of it was that you started with a blank slate, so it wasn't you have your amnesiac. So
yes,
what's the point?
But
here's the thing. Like I said, you don't even have to get all the memories. My first playthrough, I didn't get all the memories, so I didn't know. I didn't really care about. At first, I didn't care about these characters. Just it was whatever. It was just people I was hoping that apparently knew me in the past, and that was the beauty of it. It was like. This is a post-apocalyptic world. This is Zelda.
That's what made the characters bland, though. That's what made them very bland. I mean, look, let me name you some of the characters, and you tell me some of the things you remember about them. Daruk.
Okay, so he's that rock guy. Forgot what they're called. But yeah, he was just one of the champions. I mean, there's not really that much to talk about. He was in the original Zelda games.
But I'm saying, like, emotionally, how is he? Where does he come from? Who's his family? What does he do for a living? Like, when he's not a champ, when he's not busy, dying.
He's dead.
When he's not busy.
You're talking to his ghost.
Exactly. When he's busy not dying, what is he into?
He's dead.
Mipha, I think his name is Rivali, Urbosa.
They're dead.
In the DLC, you experience them, you talk to them, they're in the DLC a lot, and they're in there, the DLC concentrates on them a lot, and some of them, I'd say Mipha and Rivali are the ones that I actually somewhat found interesting watching the DLC. But yeah, watching them in the main campaign, in the main game, they were insufferable. They were basically cardboard cutouts of other like stereotypes of characters, and it's like, there's no way you can sacrifice good characterization in a game because of this. I know this style of game that Nintendo made takes some sacrifices from the story, but characters I don't think it was a sacrifice that needed to be made. I don't think that was part of the game design. I think Nintendo just got lazy on that end. I mean, they built a good world. They're like, you know what, I think we're done here. I think with Skyrim, again, the gameplay, even though it's not the greatest of all time, but if you want to use mods, but not even without mods, it's still great gameplay. And still,
I mean, you just swing your sword back and forth, and the spells, you kind of just have different things and you just spray them at people.
You just described.
No, Zelda not at all. You have to dodge,
swinging your sword.
You can't do that in Skyrim.
Okay, but because you have spells,
and you can use you can use the environment, and like fire actually burns things. Where in Skyrim, there's like no physics essentially. Skyrim is known where you can put a bucket on somebody's head, and then just steal from them.
No, but I'm saying, and that's another thing you can steal. You can't steal in Breath of the Wild. That's
another thing? Okay.
Yeah. It's freedom of choice. That to me is the ultimate freedom.
It's an RPG, and You don't need. What? That makes no sense.
I just don't think that. I just think that Zelda's argument is that, oh, you could do whatever you want whenever you want, but it's like you can't do whatever you want. You could just do it whenever you want. But is that true freedom? It's not.
Yes, freedom it is. What are you talking?
No.
You just said freedom. If you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, then that is true freedom.
No, I said that's true freedom, but you can't truly do whatever you want in Zelda. Can you do whatever you want, like Skyrim?
Within the physics and the engine of the game, yes. You can't do whatever you want in Skyrim.
Can you rob people? Can you murder good characters or shopkeepers? Can you do that? I'm talking about freedom of choice.
Dude, okay, but that makes no sense. You're gonna reload the game anyways in Skyrim because that's gonna affect. It messes with the engine.
No,
it's just bad game design at that point. Look at Witcher 3. You can't do that.
But what are you talking about? I'm talking about killing random NPCs that you don't have to kill, or they're not bad guys whatsoever. You can kill random NPCs.
In
not all
3,
NPCs.
You can't.
Okay, some NPCs are.
No, they're only enemies. You can't kill any NPCs in Witcher 3. And are you saying Witcher 3 is a bad game design now?
Because no, but I'm saying but Witcher 3, Witcher 3 is not in Witcher 3. You could do a lot, but I'm not saying it's ultimate freedom. Again, I'm not saying it's bad game design. I'm not saying Breath of the Wild is bad game design. I'm just saying Skyrim is better. I'm comparing a game that I think it's a Hall of Fame game in Breath of the Wild. So I'm not saying that I'm not saying Witcher 3 is a bad game. I just think Skyrim is a better game than Witcher 3 and Breath of the Wild because of those aspects. And I just feel like, again, look, in this game, they could have done better world building.
Dude,
the world is the main character, and it doesn't do a good job of world building. Tell me the politics of this world.
You haven't even completed the game, first of all. Let's get that clear.
I've watched the entire story.
And
I've watched hours and hours upon gameplay.
Like, you just saw Ganon's fight. Because I showed you.
Okay, explain it to me. Explain to me the religions in Hyrule, in this game that they do. Explain to me how the religions work. Explain to me how the government works. Politics.
There is no governments. That's the point. This is supposed to look the game. All of that is gone.
Okay.
100 years have passed.
Don't you still have religions?
Nobody cares anymore. They just want to live. That's the point.
And those are explanations you just made up yourself. Nintendo didn't come up to you and say, "Hey, nobody cares about religion."
But that's to come up to you and tell you, "Hey, this is a religion of our game." No, they didn't.
Yes, they do. The whole reason there's a civil war is because of Talos. It's because of Talos being. Yes.
This game is a post-apocalyptic game. And the religion, if you actually explore the game, you actually find out their past religions.
Okay, explain it to me.
Okay.
What was the religion called?
The Triforce.
What were they? Okay, wait. You're going off of other games?
No, it's there. Like there's a temple. Like it's the ruins. I don't know.
And what did you learn about it? Because this is what you learned just from playing Skyrim.
The three gods created the world of Hyrule.
Okay, and how does this religion affect the politics in the world?
There is no politics. That doesn't.
You have politics on every
really
level.
Stupid right now because none of that exists in this anymore. It's a post-apocalyptic game.
Okay, it's Fallout post-apocalyptic. It's Fallout post-apocalyptic.
No. Wait, Fallout? I thought you meant Skyrim. Yeah, we're not talking about Fallout. What?
No, okay, just an example. Fallout post-apocalyptic. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Okay, and there's governments, there's religions, there's all that. Other games.
Yeah, how many years after does it take place?
Other settings. No, but other settings.
How many years after? Look, Fallout 76 only takes place, I don't know, 40 years or 50 years after the bombs fell. There is no governments or anything. You're the people making the governments and stuff.
Exactly.
This is only 100 years after that.
100 years? Okay, but there's still nothing there. Like, there's nothing. There are so many things that happen within 100 years. Yeah, by 100 years, there should have already been some sort of politics. There should have been.
They can't look. Okay. First of all, they built closed cities, right?
Okay, what? So you're telling me Breath of the Wild has better world building than Skyrim? Skyrim, I know their religion. I know what they celebrate. I know how the religions impacts the politics. I know that.
Okay, they're different.
Not letting
That's
Talos.
The thing. You're comparing it. there is supposed to
I'm comparing a complete full story to a non-complete story. Post-apocalyptic.
It's not non-complete.
It is. The story. The world building is not. It's not 100%. Like, first of all, what do you have? The Princess's Diaries. Do you have Zelda's Diaries? They tell you about stuff that's like, I would actually like to see that in the game. They don't actually tell you about actual like they tell you about things that are like, why isn't this in the game? Why isn't that in the game? Why couldn't you show me memories of that instead of just writing it down? Okay, Skyrim, their books are all like world building. Instead of telling you like parts of like the plot and stuff like that, or side plots and stuff like that, it's world building as well. You read about all these heroes, and then like at the end when you go to Sovngarde, you meet half of these heroes and you freak out because you read books on these people and they're here now. That's ultimate world building. You can't get better than that by reading about somebody.
That's the
books.
issue with you, champion. You just need everything explained to you. That's what you like. That's what you want, and that's a child.
But you haven't explained to me. You haven't explained anything to me about Breath of the Wild world.
Somebody who
explain to me. First of all, in every capacity.
Wait. Now let me talk. We talked. Okay, look. When you actually see game design and storytelling, Zelda doesn't need to tell you anything. You have to discover that yourself. You have to. It shows.
What is there to discover?
The old adage of show, don't tell.
They didn't do that.
They do.
The Princess Diaries.
They do. If you explore,
tell you so many.
Kevin, I mean champion. I keep calling you Kevin. If you
explore
the open
diaries. World.
No, I'm not saying. Don't even look at the diaries. Forget all that. Running around the open world, you see, these ruined buildings, these ruined castles, these ruined houses, and you get the storytelling from them. Just not the memory. Just looking at it.
Dwemer. You go into the Dwemer caves and there's stories there for years that you can find and stuff like that.
No, they're all the same thing. They're all the same dungeon.
No, but
different traps.
It's what you're saying. It's like, okay, yeah, there's storytelling in the environment. You can tell that the Dwemers were advanced people. You didn't need somebody to tell you that. You went and you saw the robots
you messed up. The Dwemers weren't advanced people. They were just Nordic soldiers that died and then came back to life. They weren't advanced people.
What are you talking about? They had robots. They had robots. They built freaking robots. They literally if you look at the lore, they said that they were always like sophisticated. They discovered a way to read Elder Scrolls without it messing up their eyes or making them go crazy or killing them. They mastered that.
Were the Dwemers that tried to do that, and then it did go crazy, and then they became like rabbits.
And and how come the Dwemers have robots and machines made?
Yeah, everybody has.
Nowhere else.
Well, whatever. There's not even a debate about the lore. That makes no sense.
Okay, but we can have a debate on the lore. Nobody's having debate on the lore on Breath of the Wild because there is no lore. There is
because it's already established. Everybody knows it.
Oh yeah, it's established from the past games. I'm talking about from like this game by itself. You can play Skyrim and have debates about the lore. Breath of the Wild, you play it once and you're like, yeah. If you play the whole series, you can have debates.
Okay,
about
and here's the other thing.
Like
What game in the series is Skyrim?
It's
the fifth installment.
Fifth?
Yeah, it's the fifth installment.
If we're not counting like side games and stuff, yeah, fifth.
Yeah, the side spin-offs or whatever. Yeah, Breath of the Wild was his first time Nintendo ever making an open world game this style.
Wait, what? That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it does.
We're comparing the games side by side.
I'm saying that they can establish the lore of this world.
They didn't establish much.
It was the first game in the series.
No, wait. But here's the thing, though. You don't have to play any other Elder Scrolls to learn any of the pre-established lore in the games before that, because it has it all for you. That's what I'm saying. Okay, let's look at, like, for example, the books versus the Princess Diaries. Which one do you prefer or better?
Dude, just stupid comparison. There's like 1,000 books in Skyrim.
Exactly, because they took their writing seriously. The writing for Zelda, I mean, it's pretty amateur if you look at it. If you look at the characters, they're pretty amateurs. I can name you tons of characters from Skyrim that were very memorable and deep and, three-dimensional.
Okay, go.
Okay, there was the King Ulfric.
Okay.
King
Ulfric,
just a
guy who wanted to defend. He was very racist and wanted to just take over the country, whatever. He wanted to defend his.
But he also wanted freedom of religion. He wanted freedom to celebrate Talos. It's a conflicting character. Boom, right there. Name me a conflicting character in Breath of the Wild.
Ganon.
He just stands there and beats everything up. How's that conflicting? The only thing he's conflicting is how he's gonna try to kill you. That's the only thing that's conflicting him.
That's the thing.
Look,
Ganon wasn't always like that.
Oh, but if you look at the games before, we're not talking other games. I'm talking about this game by himself. This game. I'm talking about just this game. Period.
Okay, remember the Skyrim addresses the lore from the other games in the books.
Okay, but it reintroduces
all the books are
based
on the lore from the other games.
But it reintroduces it to you.
Okay.
Why couldn't Zelda world build off again? Like you said,
because this game has nothing to do with that timeline. Breath of the Wild is gonna be its own spin-off. Like, that's what I'm saying. All the games after Breath of the Wild are probably gonna be applied on the Breath of the Wild mythos.
If you take away all the old lore in Skyrim, they still have new lore. They still have 10 times the amount of new lore that Breath of the Wild has. It's not even close. I mean, I still don't know. First of all, in every capacity of a civilization, even small villages, there is some sort of government. There's some sort of politics.
Like village elders and stuff.
Okay, but the politics, you don't see villages fighting and
Why
stuff like that.
would
they?
They were all united, dude. Okay, before Ganon, there was world peace essentially.
And that's the thing. That's the number one thing. It is a black and white cookie cutter story. You're saying that I need everything explained to me, and that's childish. But Breath of the Wild is literally a kid's story. Black and white, hero versus villain. The community, the humans, everybody's together with this one.
That's the thing, because if you approach this game with the same mentality that, okay, they're gonna tell me everything. They're gonna tell me, okay, yeah, this guy's the hero. Okay, this guy's the villain. But if you don't approach this without actually seeing like the stuff around you, Zelda's games, and especially Breath of the Wild, have always had a deeper meaning behind it. Because Breath of the Wild is actually a very sad game.
Yeah, everybody dies.
Yeah, and you're just seeing like, okay, all your friends die. All these villages are essentially reduced to like little like communities.
And here's the thing,
and they barely can go out. Like, there's always these two people, these brother and sister, or these two sisters that are just trying to get truffles in the forest, and they can't because they're always getting attacked by those goblins. And like, that's what I mean. That's the point is that they can't like, okay, build great cities. They don't have populations for large armies. They don't have any of that. They can't do that. It's only been 100 years since Ganon just basically pulled a Thanos and destroyed half of the entire of Hyrule.
But that still doesn't it doesn't change my argument at all. Like, at the end of the day, it first of all, there's double meaning with life. I'm not talking about if it has any double meaning with life and stuff like that. First of all, here's the thing. Breath of the Wild storytelling abilities fall below its predecessors games. Its story, it's one of the worst compared to Zelda games. Just Zelda games. It's not a good story. I mean, let's look at the ending of Ocarina of Time, when you save everybody and there's like this big part. Was it Ocarina of Time where there's like the big party, and then at the end, you know, your little thing leaves you, and we find out how that ties into the other games. Ocarina of Time, and you see the party, and you see all like the I forgot what it was, like the gods and stuff like that looking down at you, and it was a beautiful
No, they weren't the
moment.
gods. They were the people, the people that you meet in Breath of the Wild. Those, I forgot those
the
guys.
champions.
Yeah, the different champions. They're your friends.
Okay,
they're adults now. Just like you were.
They're staring down at you. It's a party. It's beautiful. It's amazing. What is the ending of Breath of the Wild? Please tell me that.
You save the Zelda, and if you get all your memories, which I haven't got, I didn't get every single. I think I only missed like one memory. Then you get like another here. I'll look it up.
You get so you have to look it up.
Because I never did it. I never got all the memories.
Okay, first of all, if you have to unlock, if is it hard to unlock all the memories? Because you played the game a long time.
Well, I'm still playing it, but I didn't get them all when I fought Ganon. Because I wanted to fight
Ganon. I don't know. I feel like if you're interested in the story, you'd try to get them all and then fight Ganon, right? Well, look,
yeah,
you know what?
I just didn't get the.
Well, I looked over the ending already. It is Zelda talking to Link, saying, "Oh, how are we gonna rebuild all this?" And Link's there like, he doesn't say anything because he's mute. So yeah, that's like the extra cutscene basically that you get. And I just summarized.
Spoiler alert! Gotta tell people that. I mean,
what spoiler? What spoiler is there? You have to defeat Ganon. You defeat Ganon. What's the spoiler? There's no spoilers. There is no twist or anything like that. Let me tell you, Skyrim's ending, when you defeat Alduin in like basically their version of heaven, then what you do is you transport back into the normal world, and that you're on the highest mountain in the world, the throne of the world. You are surrounded by dragons everywhere. Dragons everywhere, and they start singing because they were under this basically the slavery of Alduin. So they were celebrating in the air, flying, blowing fire in the air, celebrating Alduin is dead, Alduin is dead, surrounding you, praising you as a dragonborn. And you look at Parthemex, and Parthemex says you did it, but you kind of sense a tone in his voice. He's not happy about it. You ask him, why aren't you happy about it? He's like, because Alduin was a really good person, and well, a good dragon, a good king. It was Akatosh's first creation, and the power went to his head, and he was my brother. He was a good guy. So towards the end, you kind of feel a little bit more pity for the villain. You feel bad for him. You feel for you're like, damn, he was a good person at one point or another. And you have, but then this guy tells you, you fought one of the greatest battles of all time. This will be foretold forever in music and in stories and in legend. You are engraved forever into the world, while millions of dragons are flying around you in the highest peak of the world. And are we gonna compare endings now? Because it's not even close. And you're looking at the ending right now. Do the endings compare, Sentry?
Yeah, give me a second.
He's watching the ending for the game that he's defending, that saying has a good story.
No, this is a true ending though. Because I missed one of the memories.
But it's exactly what I told you. It's Zelda being like, hey, by the way, we gotta rebuild this whole kingdom because, like, you know, it's beat up. And it's the end. And yeah, I guess it's a cute cute cutscene, but it doesn't, you know, it's not even comparable to Skyrim.
Oh my
ending.
God, I wish I had. Damn it, well, I'm playing the master mode. Yeah, this ending. Yeah, I got feelings just from watching it. Yeah, this doesn't even compare to Skyrim. Skyrim is crap when it comes to the ending. The ending. Oh, you defeat Alduin. There's no like new true ending.
What are you talking about?
That was incredible.
You didn't hear me. So Zelda telling Link, "Yo, we're gonna rebuild this." Yeah, see, this just shows that you're fighting. This is just your opinion, and I'm saying things that are factual. I mean, there is no ending. What is the ending? Zelda's like, "Yo, we're gonna rebuild what got destroyed." That's it. That's not an ending. That's crap.
When does Skyrim end?
Did you hear me say the ending? Were you not listening to me?
I was watching a video.
Oh my God, I have to explain it. The audience has to hear it again.
I played Skyrim, so just tell me what part.
You're talking about when you're on the throne of the world. After you defeated Alduin in heaven, you get transported back to the throne of the world, the highest mountain, the highest peak.
That's the ending.
You're surrounded by dragons. You're surrounded by dragons everywhere. They start chanting, Alduin's dead, Alduin's dead, the Dragonborn has slain him, in dragon tongue and in English tongue, while shooting fire in the air and flying around you. Because they were under Alduin's, they were basically his slaves. So they were happy that you defeated him. The only one that wasn't happy was Parthemex. And you're like, Parthemex, how come you seem so mad? Like, not happy that Alduin's dead? Because, you know, it was a hard thing, and you were the only dragon that was on my side. Parthemex was there. Alduin was a great king once. Okay, he was Akatosh's first creation, and he was a great king, and he did good for his people, but he got corrupted. So yeah, I'm not happy. And at what point he was my brother? Like I don't know. I still don't know if he meant he was his brother, like his actual brother, or they were brothers.
No, remember they were like Farnlax was like his number 2 man. It was like his best man essentially. Like they did it. Everything. I don't know if you remember the Blades quest line.
Yeah.
Where you have to like obviously we've been talking about spoilers. But yeah, the Blades ask you to kill Farnlax. And
and you can choose
because yeah, they told you he was his right hand man. He he was basically like, if Alduin said destroy this village, it was Phalanx who would do it. Yeah, they were like, they were tight. They were tight.
And there at the end, not only is it a big epic ending, but you get a little bit more perspective because, wow, Alduin actually had some good in him, and you know it kind of was like, oh damn, like Alduin's actually at one point a good person, a good dragon, and cared for people, and was a good king, and that sucks. And it was Akatosh's first creation ever. Akatosh is one of like the greater gods in all of the Elder Scrolls series, and the fact that his first creation, got corrupted like that, it sucks. And at the end, Parlamax says, you fought one of the greatest battles of all time. Your history will be ingrained. And he's saying this while there's hundreds of dragons flying in the air, breathing fire everywhere. And it is one
so
of
for
the
the
most
sake
beautiful...
of time, because I might have to go like literally in a little bit. So
yeah, this episode's getting long.
We agreed that the open world in Zelda is better, and that the story is superior in Skyrim. Correct?
Story and world building, I think.
But that's the story, yes. World building is all by story. So the open world
has to do with maps and stuff, but okay, sure.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Now you're just nitpicking. Oh, maps?
Because this is how I view it. I think Zelda's gameplay is superior by Skyrim's, but I don't think it's by much. I think Skyrim still has very good gameplay, still very fun, still very addictive. And again, if we count mods, it's not even fair because there's millions of different types of combat systems you can download and stuff like that.
It just modifies the damage. It just modifies the damage, though. I see them all. They all just the modified damages. They don't like change the actual like like it doesn't turn into like another. Like, it doesn't turn like into The Witcher 3 or something, or like this, like, you know what I mean? Like a different, altogether, fighting system.
Okay, so I'll give you that. The map, it's very close. The maps, I mean, both of their maps are great.
No, I'm talking about the open world though. Like, when I say open world, I'm not talking about like architecture. I'm talking about design, which means
But I think
like when soundtrack choice, when the music kicks in for different areas, or when the physics engine, the weather effects, obviously
soundtrack's a whole different argument.
Yeah, I mean there's good tracks in both games,
but here's the thing though, I feel like
but I'm saying when the soundtrack kicks in, I'm talking about like the idle in the open world. You know what I mean? Like when you're just walking around and you go into a forest, there's a certain type of music that plays in both games and so.
But here's the thing though, even though I think Breath of the Wild is crafted better in a sense of like engine wise, I think Skyrim has better side quests, side content, and like just overall stuff to do. You can become an assassin, you become a mage, you become a thief. But it's also world. But it's also maps. It's also on the map. The stuff you can do on the map that's not on the main trail to that.
Yeah.
I think you can't just lump it into story. I think it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of maps, story,
but like
and
I said,
gameplay.
I'm not, when I say open world, champion, what I'm saying is the design, not the world building. World building goes with story. Same thing. I'm talking about the open world. I'm talking about like the weather, the nature. Like there's animals. They hunt. They do stuff. The physics, which is just obviously that's not even an argument. The physics in Zelda is actually the best in the industry. So we can agree on.
This is my last point, and this is what I think. I think that Zelda's gameplay, is better than Skyrim's gameplay. Not by that much, but I feel like Skyrim's story elements are way better than Breath of the Wild. Like I think it's night and day. I think gameplay wise they're close. I think story wise it's not even close. It's Skyrim, and that's why Skyrim wins it for me. Because the fact that in one category they're really close, and another, but Zelda still wins. But in the second one, Skyrim is that much better in story and world building than Zelda could achieve, in my mind. Which I still think Breath of the Wild is a classic game, gonna be a classic game.
Yeah, I mean, just like how Chrono Trigger was, when it came out, 1990 whatever.
It probably will.
And Breath of the Wild are just those games that are just gonna stand the test of. Everybody's gonna say, okay, so which were the best games? And then Skyrim and Breath of the Wild are there. They're in that list.
and they both have little things that kind of will.
I mean, they both could have been perfected, like obviously, but not. And that's what I mean. Any game is not perfect. But
no, and I think that both of them will will stand the test of time because Skyrim has mods and Zelda has a cel shaded model that doesn't age at all.
Yeah.
So I think forever they'll be playable.
And if you've seen like 4K gameplay, like I mean, like man, it looks next gen stuff. But yeah,
yeah.
Basically what I'm saying is like they can remaster it 10 years from now. Not even they could just port this and this looks fine.
That's shell shaded for you.
Yeah, it looks fine, you know.
Look, at the end of the day, we couldn't agree which game was better, but we can agree that both of them are amazing games. And if you haven't played neither, play them, both of them.
You're missing out.
You're missing. Like honestly, seeing.
Stop playing Call of Duty.
Watching story of Zelda. When they would go into the gameplay, I kind of want to play it again. I kind of want to go back and explore it again. And then, brushing up on like what happened in Skyrim, I want to play it now with a few new mods that have come out and stuff like that. So I'll probably play both games in like the next few days. So yeah, so that's a conclusion. That's a hell of a conclusion. Jesus, it's 1:27. It's gonna be our longest episode, and it was funny because it wasn't looking like it was gonna be that long. But yeah, it's a great episode.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add on? Piece of news, opinions?
No, I think that's it. Yeah. I knew we should have left that to the end because if not, you would have just said, oh, by the way, Mono solved next Zelda,
Yeah, it's like we're already done. Jeez, after all that arguing. But yeah, so okay, guys, that was a fun episode. This has been Champion
the Century,
and we are out.